Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. So here's the deal. Cheap sight. You do get what you pay for, or don't you? We're gonna find that out. However, I've sighted this thing as best as I can in with my Acmos arrows. So that's what we're gonna be shooting. We're gonna do 12 shots. Best we can do with the wind, because it's picking up and picking down at the same time. And then we're gonna pull the sight off, and we're gonna shoot without the sight. And all this is being done from 10 yards away. And you get to watch the target, see how things go. Not sure what happened to that first shot, other than I gotta go find it. So at least we got 3 in the yellow. One of them's pretty much right in the bullseye. Wind can be your enemy. So we're gonna pull these suckers out, pull the sights off the bow, same range, and we're gonna try instinctive shooting. See what happens. All right, y'all ready for 10 yards? No sights. Let's do this. All right, 5 outside, but still way better grouping period than what we got with the sight on there. And we got a nice little tight group of 3 here. One right dead center of the bullseye too. But otherwise, all in the yellow. Oh, except one. All right, one less. So 1, 2, 3, 6. So basically half center, half not. But that was still a kill shot either way down there. What can I tell you? Shooting with sights on a recurve or traditional bow, good for training. I'll give it that. But you shouldn't rely on it completely, in my opinion. Personally, I'm more of a believer in instinctive shooting and gap shooting. I can do instinctive shooting, obviously, pretty good, getting much better, gonna get better and better as I go. Gap shooting I can't do. I can't figure it out, my brain can't work that way. Sorry, that's life. Working with a sight on a traditional bow, if I had a peep sight, I'm sure it would be miles better, okay? Working without a peep sight, yeah, okay? A T-bar sight is a little bit different than what we had on there. Well, okay, it's a lot different, right? So this kind of means you don't need necessarily a peep sight with a T-bar. But when you're trying a hunting sight or a compound sight, which as far as I'm concerned, it's the same damn thing. It's just maybe you got more pins on a compound sight, who knows? But there are people who give a definitive term to it. But either way I look at it, that sight came off of a recurve bow. Even though it was a cheap piece of junky bow, the sight's not half bad. But when you got to push your windage that far across, and you're still going to have a hard time getting center, either way, you have to focus more with a sight. And that's something that I believe that you can't afford to do when you're holding back 40, 50, 60 pounds of a traditional bow. You don't have that luxury that you have with a compound. So, to be honest, fully, eventually I'm going to take away the little baby crutch on my Olympic bow of a sight, and I probably won't go back to a sight again. I'm using the sight right now on it to give me better accuracy, especially for testing stuff. It does help me out a lot more, okay? but it's only for testing. Where I'm looking at, I tried a sight for the first time on this bow. This is 40 pounds I'm hauling back, not 26 on that other one. It is hard to hold back 40 pounds long enough to concentrate. The sight swims a hell of a lot more when you're holding back all that weight as opposed to a 60, 70, 80% let off on a compound, which is almost nothing to hold back, right? So you have the time, you have the ability to really wait it out for your shot to be precise, and you do much better, right? But on this, you don't have that luxury. So I think that in total for me, I'm gonna say, yeah, good for a training aid, good to get an idea of where to set the level for your bow so that you can at least get into this area, but not as a permanent thing. I really think that if you're gonna shoot traditional bows, I don't care if you're shooting off the shelf or off of a rest of some sort other than yourself, you know, don't rely on a sight to work properly for you on these things. The other thing I've learned too about shooting instinctively too, and gap shooting, we don't have a range limit. We don't have to worry about it. If I go back 26 yards and I can aim and I can hit this bullseye at 26 yards and I have no sights, whether I'm shooting instinctive or traditional, then I should be able to do the same thing at 30 yards and 40 yards and so on, where somebody with a compound that has the sight system and the peephole and all that, yeah, they can set their bows up from 0 to 100 yards if they want to, okay, or out even further if they can get that far, right? But each pin has a limited amount of range to it, okay? Unless you're going for a single pin sight that has a roller to roll your actual yardage right precise. And well, I have my opinions on that, but I'll keep them to myself. I do like the idea, trust me. I really like the deal of an auto ranging sight, but $2,000 for a sight for a $200 bow is never going to happen on this planet. Not for me. Even if I had the money, I still wouldn't do it. So, but I think that overall, my feelings are what they are. I think the sight is a nice idea. It's a nice training aid. It does help you with your traditional bow. If you can mount one on, okay, not all trad bows are going to do it. Look at your black hunters. They can't. They don't have any mount screw holes for that sort of stuff. You can't even mount an alternate rest on those bows. They are full out traditional. You are totally off the shelf. You can't even put a friggin' hook rest on one of them unless you modify the bow to have a flat area for that. In which case, well, it's just really not the same bow anymore, is it? So, but anyhow, that's just my thoughts. So take it for what you will. I think from this point on, I'm going to just stick with instinctive shooting with my recurves, other than my testing bow for now until we're done all of our testing, and then that sight's coming off. As far as my compounds, they'll always have sights on them. I prefer the sights on them. They work better. And when it comes to hunting, until I can learn instinctive shooting well enough, I don't trust myself to hunt with this bow at any range. So, you know, that's just it. It's kind of one of those things. Anyway, that's it. That's all. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. Ciao.